All right, welcome to Raw Vegan Secrets Bootcamp Training number 2. I am so excited to share this training with you guys. I'm still nervous, and so if you guys could please let me know that you're here, comment down below. Let me know who you are, where you're from. It helps me to visualize who I'm talking to because, really I'm just looking into a camera. But if you guys could put comments down below, that would be great. And make sure to turn off your cell phones, all distractions, so that you can pay attention. I'm going to try to share some life-changing training today. So do yourself a favor and close down all distractions. So you guys, I told you that I would have to pre-record things, so I realized my hair is straight now. This is how we're making it work, people. So our last training was super fun. We had 119 people register for that webinar. There were people there from 10 different countries, and we had 16 comments and questions in the feed, but we did have some technical difficulties with our webinar. So I have put together a training video on how to operate in the webinar, in that page. It's so easy, you guys. So I put together a little video. Be sure to watch it. It's on my YouTube channel. We're also putting it in our Facebook group. So let me tell you, on the comments, we had Pam Sheldon Lilemo attend. Thank you for coming. And, Lakrem, I don't know how to say your first name. Chuksa? I don't know. You're going to have to tell me how to say your name, girlfriend. I want to say your name, and I don't know how to say your name. So please help me. We had Ann Haas-Faber. Thank you. Or Faber. You guys, I need help. We had Kasha Owens. Kasha, you told me it's like Marsha. Kasha like Marsha. And Tina Jolly. Hi, girlfriend. And Rhonda Fastanu came. So I'm so glad you guys came. And I know lots of you came later on the replay, and I'm so glad you did. These are the ones that just left comments. So if you want to shout out and if you want me to respond to your comments during the live feed, you need to put comments down below in that little section, on the right-hand side, because I am there in the comments responding. So talk to me, people. And if you didn't get a chance to see it, it's still up for 6 more days, so you can go and see it again, or see it the first time, rewatch it, and get the most out of that training. Also, be sure to sign up for the Raw Vegan Secrets Bootcamp Facebook group, and click the link on the right side to get Facebook Messenger and receive the notifications for that. This is going to be a closed group, so there are going to be certain codes of conduct, like a code of awesomeness, you could call it, that we're going to abide by. But it's going to be a place where we can come, we can share stories, we can inspire each other, we can ask questions, we can post answers, and we can just get to know each other and have a safe place for us vegan boss ladies. So it'll be awesome. So please go over there and sign up, and we will see you there. All right, so this training is all about you. You know, I have seen amazing results on my raw vegan journey, and it took me years to figure it out. And that's why I want to do this training, so that you can get started and figure out the raw vegan secrets quickly and get immediate results instead of taking decades to figure it out. And please, the way I make this more meaningful for you is if you please post your questions down below and your comments. Let me know what's on your mind, what you wonder about, and I will get those answers to you, and we can make this the most meaningful training possible. And I also encourage you to stay till the end, where we'll do our super See, I can't say that. Our super secret segment. It's so awesome because we're going to do 3 more super secret segments. Woohoo, I said it fast. At the end of each training, and it's to reward you for coming at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and to reward you for staying to the end and to get the whole training. So be sure to stick around for that part. Okay, so I have something very important to share with you guys. Most people, when they start out on their health or fitness journey, make a huge mistake. So many people make it. And that is why I want to share this special training with you today. So there are 2 strategies to getting healthy and fit. There is the freedom path, right? We talked about the freedom path in our stupid secret segment last time. And then there is the hope path. So what is the difference between a freedom path and a hope path? Well, the freedom path is an engineered path that will get you the freedom you desire and the results you want. Whereas the hope path is more of a, I hope I get there, and I hope what I'm doing works, and I hope I will get healthy and fit. And it is not engineered, and it is not guaranteed to get you any results at all. So the Raw Vegan Secrets path is a freedom path. It is an engineered path to get you the results you want. It nourishes your body and heals your body on a micro and macro level, and it allows your body to function the way your body should by feeding it the things your body is meant to eat. And it avoids all the toxic man-made substances that are out there that are actually very harmful to your body. So we're going to recap the 5 freedoms that we learned last time, and then we're going to kind of compare them to the 5 hopes that you have on the hope path. Okay, so you've got the freedom path and the hope path, and we're going to do them side by side. So the first step on the freedom path was thin. In my journey, the first thing that got me motivated to start my journey was I wanted to be thin. I wanted to lose some weight, and at the time I didn't know any better, and I just kind of jumped on all diets that came in my path. I did Herbalife, I did Medifast, I did the HCG diet, I did Atkins, I did the starch solution, I did the keto diet. I did so many different diets, and I was able to lose weight on those diets, but I did not feel good. It was not sustainable. I didn't feel healthy. I was tired, and I was taking diet pills and man-made chemicals to make it so that I could stay on those diets because it was too hard. And so I did achieve my thin goal, but in the end, I realized that I needed to change because I went to the doctor, as I mentioned in the previous video. I went to the doctor, and she did my blood work and told me that my body was showing all signs of being starved, and that I was making it so I could no longer have children. And to me, that was a huge eye-opener because I believe we're supposed to be happy in this life, and my greatest happiness comes from my kids, from having children. And she was telling me that in my effort to become thin, I was making it so I could no longer have children and have that happiness. And that's when I knew I had to make a change. Okay, so on the other side, on the hope side, we have fear. Okay, so we have fear of changing and starting a different journey because what if it causes us more harm than good? What if we do it wrong? What if people will judge us? And what if we lose our friends? So we have this fear, and so we never actually get started. It's kind of like going to the gym for the first time, like you want to go, but you have this fear of, well, what gym do I join? And what's the best time to go? And what exercises should I do? And how long should I be at the gym? And what do I wear? And am I supposed to eat before I go to the gym? And what if I have to go to the bathroom in the middle of my workout? And what about doing my hair and makeup? Do I do that before or after I go to the gym? And And who's going to be there? And what if they look at me funny? Like, we have so many fears of going. Whereas if I said, hey, do you want to go out to eat? You'd be like, yeah, let's go. Like, there's no fear. We just hop in the car and go. It's like one step to go out to eat, right? It's easy because we're familiar with it. We know what we're doing. But yet going to the gym is like 100 steps. And it's so many steps, and we're so afraid that we never actually take those steps. And it's fear that kills many of our health and fitness dreams. Okay, so now let's go back to our freedom path. So on the freedom path, the second step is health. So I went to the doctor, like I said, and she told me that what I was doing was causing my body harm. So I knew I had to make a change. I knew these crazy fad diets weren't going to work long term. I knew I had to get off the diet pills. I had to get off the chemicals. So that's when I was searching for something, for a way to stay healthy and fit and nourish my body in a sustainable way. And that's when I found the raw vegan diet. And that's why I'm so excited to share these trainings with you, because the raw vegan diet allows me to be fit and healthy at the same time and to be happy. And I feel like we all kind of want that, don't we? And so why not share with you how I do it so that you can receive that too? So the second step on the hope path is ignorance, because you don't know any better, you don't do any better. Or better yet, worse yet, I should say, you follow the advice of people in your social group who are also unhealthy, but they profess to know how to guide you to success, so you follow their advice. It's kind of like the blind leading the blind. Did you guys hear that story? Tony Robbins. It was with Tony Robbins, and he was on like the Today Show or something, and there was 5 women who were like, "Hey Tony, we're gonna form our little group, and we're gonna go and get healthy together." And they're like, "What do you think of that idea?" And Tony was like, "That is the stupidest idea ever." And his response, I mean, it makes sense. He's like, "Okay, so you have 5 unhealthy people that are gonna go and get healthy together. But what if one of you has a pain of hunger or of your former life, and you decide, let's not go to the gym today. Let's go to Dunkin' Donuts and get a donut instead." Well, y'all are going to sit there and go, "Okay, let's go to Dunkin' Donuts instead." And you're going to skip the gym and the healthy diet and the things that are going to get you the engineered path to get you to your results. And he's like, you don't want to be led by people who have not already reached the success that you want to reach. You want someone to guide you who has been there, who knows how to do it, and who's going to make you stick to it, rain or shine, pain or no pain, right? To get to your results. And they're going to make you stay on the path to reach your goal. So what would you rather have? Someone who's going to get you to your goal, or somebody who's going to be a soft person and won't guarantee you get to your goal? You know, health and fitness, it's an engineered result. You don't just, ignorantly do whatever and somehow miraculously arrive at being healthy and fit. There are certain things you have to do. Like you can follow bad advice from some infomercial, I don't know, and start taking diet pills that promise to make you slim, right? Okay, so you take these diet pills, but in the end, you're poisoning your body with toxic chemicals and you're starving your body. So then you start taking man-made supplements to give your body the nutrients it needs rather than just eating the nutrients in their whole plant form. So then your body is still starving and it's getting all these chemicals, so it's going to keep sending hunger signals. And in the end, if your body keeps sending hunger signals, you're eventually going to overeat. And that's not what you want to be doing. So then you overeat, but then you feel emotionally beat up. Like you emotionally beat yourself up because, you cracked. You heaven forbid, did what your body's supposed to do and ate. So then you start beating yourself up emotionally, and then you go through I've got to hunker down and I've got to starve myself again. And so you're back on the diet pills and back to starving yourself. And then you crack, because at some point we all will crack, right? Starving sucks. Nobody wants to do it. Am I right? So then you're going to eat again, and you're going to go through this cycle over and over and over again. And it's kind of like getting kicked over and over and over again when you're already down. Why would we want to do that? I know I sure don't. Another example is when certain diets claim that carbs are bad, right? So then they say, okay, well, carbs are bad, but it's okay to eat these low-carb, man-made things that taste delicious, like cookies and bars, because we use things to sweeten, like aspartame and Splenda, which go through your body. Your body doesn't recognize it, so it just goes through and it doesn't affect your body. Okay, so I followed that advice and learned my lesson, because those toxins actually accumulate in your body. And in my case, it accumulated so badly that I did not realize it was from the artificial sweeteners at the time, but I was debilitated. I was in so much pain. I could not sit like I'm sitting right now. I could not sit for more than 5 minutes. I was in so much pain. It was like I was a 90-year-old woman with arthritis. It was so bad. And it was making it so I couldn't exercise. I couldn't sit. I couldn't stand. I couldn't walk. It was debilitating. And then I finally found, this was like 6, 7, 8, 9 months that I was in this horrific pain and did not know what it was from. And then I read an article or something where they mentioned that was a side effect of aspartame and Splenda. And I was like, really? Could that really be? So here's an example of me being ignorant. I didn't know any better. I was just doing what I thought these gurus, who actually really didn't know how to make me healthy, just wanted to pad their wallets. So I believed them and I did what they told me to do to get healthy and fit. And I'm totally debilitated. So I was like, I'm going to try it. And so I decided to cut out all artificial sweeteners all at once, cold turkey. And it was like probably 5 days. Within 5 days, I was perfectly fine. No pain, none of that. Like here, I thought I was going to be plagued with arthritis from the age of 30 for the rest of my life. No, got rid of the artificial sweeteners and I could move freely and I was just fine. So ignorance is not the path to health and fitness. I am a prime example. Now, at this point, if any of you guys have similar experiences or any questions about this, please post them down below. It's so great to communicate and to kind of see what other people do, so then we can find solutions to what we're experiencing based on what other people have done. So please comment down below, ask questions, and let's make this a conversation so that we can get the most out of this training. All right, so the third step on the freedom path is self-confidence. Once I started getting healthy and I found the raw vegan diet and I was eating to nourish my body, I had so much energy. I could exercise. I felt great. My skin was improving. My hair was improving. I was losing inches around my arms and my hips and my thighs and my stomach and my chest. And I was just feeling so much better. And that's when the self-confidence starts to come, because you're feeling great in your skin. You look good. You're no longer self-conscious when you look in the mirror, all of these things just make you feel so good inside. So then let's go to the hope path and see what the other side is. Well, the other side is perfectionism. We set such unrealistic expectations for ourselves to be perfect when really, by definition, human beings are imperfect. It's like stuffing the turkey through the beak. It just doesn't make sense. And I think as women, we set ourselves up to fail so often and set these unrealistic expectations for ourselves that we get frustrated. We say that unless we're perfect and do this exactly how these people say, we're a failure. And if we're a failure, well, we might as well not even try, right? Do you ever do that? I do it all the time. Perfectionist, right here. But I have learned to curb that and go a different way. And that's why I'm trying to share this with you, because I've been there. Dang it. So instead of setting up these unrealistic expectations, for instance, so we try to follow these health gurus that claim to know how to make us healthy and fit and thin and happy and beautiful and all these things, right? So we follow what they say and we try to follow it to the letter, and they're telling us to take this supplement and this supplement and to buy this product and this product and this product, and this will get you everything that you want, and you have to do it in this way. Really, darn well they are just trying to pad their wallets. They're not trying to help us. They are corporations. They are trying to make money, right? That's their goal. They're not trying to really truly help you and make you healthier, because if they did want to do that, they would tell you to eat whole plant food. Really, they would. And that's what I discovered. If I just switched to eating whole plant food instead of eating all this processed stuff that people were trying to tell me was healthy, whole plant food is what healed my body and is what gave me the health and vitality and all those things that I really wanted. And it's just so funny to think that, you can just see him saying, here, eat my chemicals and eat my things that I know are actually toxic and it'll make you healthy. And you're just going, like, now that you step back, you're like, really? How could I be so stupid, right? Whole plant food is the answer. And the beauty about whole plant food is that it's designed for human consumption by nature, by God himself, right? So of course it's going to heal our bodies and it's going to eliminate the toxins that have been stored up, and it makes you feel satiated and full without all the extra dense calories. It's raw vegan food is nutrient dense. It is not calorie dense. So you can eat until you are full and satiated and not gain weight. And you can do that and have your body digest properly and feel light and free instead of bogged down and groggy and just, that feeling that, I just ate the whole cheesecake feeling, right? You don't get that with the raw vegan diet. And you can still have just amazingly delicious food. So let's keep going. Okay, so the fourth step on the freedom path is vitality. And you've reached vitality when, you've implemented healthy eating, your body is healing, you've gained self-confidence, you feel happy and good on the inside. And then you've also been able to become fit through healthy exercise habits. So that's vitality. And, when I became pregnant, I was aware that I hit vitality because I was, I knew three things. I knew that I was pregnant and that my body would change and get bigger, and that's okay. Like, I knew that I was giving my body the best nutrients possible, so I knew my body was not being hampered down by chemicals and that it would be able to function and perform like it should. Like, I could trust in my body through the pregnancy, and I could trust that my body would bounce back after I had the baby, because that's what our bodies are designed to do. We don't have to trick them. We don't have to force them. That's how they're made. And so the second thing I also was aware of was that I was giving my baby the best nutrition I could. So I knew that she would come in as healthy of a manner as she could. And the third thing I knew when I was pregnant after, by reaching vitality, was that I knew that health had become a conscious priority in my life. It was no longer, like a random afterthought. And it was no longer just haphazard. It was meditated, it was conscious, it was a priority and not an afterthought, right? And because I knew that I was making health a priority, I knew that I would be there for my kids, for my family. I mean, wouldn't that feel awful to bring children into the world and then to not be sure if you were going to be healthy enough to be there for them? I knew I would be there for them. I knew that what I was doing was taking care of my body and that I was going to be able to be the best me that I could be for my children and for my husband. Okay, so on the hope path, the fourth step is exercising. So how many of you, put a comment down below or raise your hand, have seen people either just out and about or at the gym, or people that you know who do the same cardiovascular type exercise or the same exercise over and 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 over every day at the gym, outside. I mean, a good example of this is every time I drive my son to preschool, I see the same people walking every day. And I've had a child in this same preschool for 3 years, and it's the same people for 3 years who are doing the same walk. And I'm sitting there going, okay, maybe walking is just making them happy, because really it hasn't changed their physique at all. So, I mean, most of the time when you think of people who are at the gym walking on a treadmill or exercising, they're doing it because they want to change their physique, because they want to lose weight, or they want to get healthier or improve their cardiovascular health or something, right? So then you see these people who are doing the same thing and they look exactly the same 3 years later. I mean, I'm not judging them. I'm just saying, if your goal was to change your physique, newsflash, it's not working. Me personally, I don't want to waste my time doing the same thing, the same wrong thing, over and over and over and spending hours and hours and hours every week doing the same wrong thing and getting nowhere. I mean, that's kind of like the definition of depression, isn't it? Like, if you weren't depressed before, keep spending countless hours doing the same thing and see how you feel. Or taking the same supplement or eating the same food, that makes you not feel so great. Keep doing it and don't notice any difference on your goals. Like, that's depression for you right there, guys. Let's not do that. Let's come out of that and let's do those things that will actually get us there, that are proven to get us there. Okay, so the last step on the freedom path is purpose. So once you've, reached your health goals, you're in your best, most optimal state, that's when you are in a position to give your finest work to the world, right? That's when you can I told you in the last one, we all have been given some superpower by God to help his children, right? And so once we've reached purpose, that's when we can, help our sisters. That's when we can give back. That's when we can share with others. Isn't our greatest joy when we serve others and when we help other people, especially when we help them and we see their happiness or relief or gratitude? That just fills your soul. And that's where we want to be, where we can give back and truly help one another. But on the hope path, the fifth step is it costs too much to be healthy. Have you ever heard that? Put your comments down below if you've heard it. It costs too much to eat healthy fruits and vegetables. I can't afford it. Fruit and vegetables are way too expensive here. It's too expensive to eat fresh food. So I hear ya, but are you taking into account the whole equation? Are you taking into account the amount of money it costs for healthcare? When you feed your body processed garbage and then you end up sick all the time and you're taking medications and prescriptions, or you have chronic pain or this or that, and because you haven't done your research and your homework, you never found out, like me, that it's caused by what you were eating. And if you just switch to a whole unprocessed diet, a lot of those ailments and sicknesses go away, and then you no longer have those healthcare costs and those medicine costs. I mean, we know that our country is just a disease-ridden country, and healthcare is through the roof. And it's a money-making business. So it doesn't cost too much to eat healthy. It costs too much to not eat healthy. And I did share half of what I'm sharing with you now in my super secret segment in my first video. And normally I don't share my super secret segment in the following video, but I felt it was really important to get this across, that the hope path, the hope strategy is not a strategy. It's not an engineered plan to get you to your results. It's a hope I get there way where you end up really damaging your bodies and causing a lot of problems. Whereas the Raw Vegan Secrets way is an engineered path to health and vitality. And one of the wonderful side effects is that you end up losing weight and becoming thin. So really, there is only one way to be healthy and fit, and that is by putting in clean fuel into your tank so that your body can function and perform like it should, like it was meant to. Okay, so I'm sure that there are questions, so put them down below and I will address them in our next Q&A session. I'm trying to explain this as best I can, but it's kind of hard because I talk to a camera and, I'm trying to explain this to you without you being right here. I can't So put your questions down below and I'll try to get to them in my next Q&A session. And if you don't have any questions, then just put some love down below, please. Your comments, your sparkle, it helps me continue sharing my journey and trying to teach and train in the best way possible. And it helps us connect and it makes this more meaningful and more fun. So please put your comments down below. But even without seeing your comments right now, I know that some of you are starting to see it. You're starting to see that the Raw Vegan Secrets is it's the solution. It's the way to get there. And I know you want to jump right in. And I encourage you to jump right in. And if you have questions or feel like you need further training or help or guidance, that's what I'm here for. I'm going to offer you guys some coaching and additional help and support. And we'll get to that later because right now we're trying to get the training in. But, even like Tony Robbins, who is like the master coach, mentor, trainer, right? He has a mentor. So we all need someone to answer our questions and to help us along. I know when I started my raw vegan journey, I kind of just jumped right in, and then I realized I could use some help. like I had so many questions, and I would have to search and spend hours trying to find the answers. And I did finally enlist a coach and a mentor, and that helped me tremendously to be able to get answers right away to my questions. And as I got more answers, I had more questions. This was me not following the ignorance path. I was trying to become educated and to do it right. And it took me years to figure it out to where I'm at now, where I can do raw vegan and not blindly, I know what I'm doing, and I know how to best fuel my body and to feel the best that I need to feel. And I know how to orchestrate it all. And so, it's really in our lives, it's so nice to have mentors and coaches that can help us. Think about it. Did we go into school as kindergartners and we just knew how to read without having a teacher? Would have been nice. Wouldn't it have been nice to walk into school and just be like, hey, I could read. I know everything, right? I don't have to do homework. Or getting our driver's license. Wouldn't it have been nice to just show up one day and drive along and pass all the tests? But that doesn't really work that way. So, and the same with cooking, I've learned this with my children. I'm like, just go make dinner. What? You need me to tell you how? Don't you just know? Do you ever do that? You're like, hey kids, come on, go make some food. And they're like, but how? And you're like, dude, haven't you seen me do it a million times? Just go make a sandwich. It's not hard. But what do I... So obviously, in our lives, we need teaching and training on almost everything. So that's what we're here for. That's what I'm here for, to help teach you and coach you and be your mentor if you need. And by the way, we still have some training to get through today, and then we have the super secret segment at the end. So don't forget to stick around till the end. So this is a part where I deliver on my promise. I promised you guys in my last video that I was going to tell you exactly what I have done to maintain my figure after having 8 babies. So let's just agree as a group that we need to take care of our health. We'll just agree on that. Now, for most people, that involves some sort of weight maintenance. Some people, it's to keep their weight up, but most people, it's to lose weight. So there are lots of ways to lose weight. Let's just address 3 possible ways to lose weight. So the first way is kind of the hope strategy. It's the restrict your calories, spend a lot of time in the gym, take a lot of harmful chemicals to suppress your appetite, to burn fat, to make you perform super awesome at the gym, and to not be happy in the process. So that is one way to lose weight. Another way to lose weight could be having surgery. Now, I'm not saying that surgery is not called for in some cases. I know in some cases it is called for. But to have surgery just so that you can, shrink the size of your stomach without medical reasons to do it is very dangerous. You could end up with worse side effects for 20 years later than if you just tried to learn and do it the healthy way. So that is a very dangerous path, can be. And the third way is to nourish your body the way it was meant to be nourished, and having tons of energy and vitality in the process. So obviously the way I finally fell upon was the third way. I started with the first way, never did the second. But now I'm at the third. So this healthy diet could be different for everyone. I know we've all found diets that work for us and our personality or our lifestyle or our budget. There are certain things that work for certain people. So the thing that I have found that works for me and that I know works for so many people is the raw vegan diet. Because when I eat, I want to feel nourished. I want to feel healthy. I want to feel light and energetic. I don't want to feel grogged down and lethargic and tired. And that's what the raw vegan diet does for me. It nourishes me. I feel so happy. It's so funny because I feel nourished at the inner level, I am happy to the soul. You know what I mean? I'm happy. It makes me feel good when I nourish my body, and it gives me so much energy. Like, I can't just sit through a movie, guys. Like, I can't stand it. I have to be doing stuff. That's kind of my personality too, though. So the raw vegan diet seriously just gives me so much energy and health and vitality. It makes my digestion just smooth as butter. It's so nice. Anyway, it makes me feel good. Okay, so what exactly do I do? How does this look or work in the real world? Now remember, I have 8 kids, so I'm obviously very busy all the time. So what I do is I eat an abundance of raw fruits and vegetables with a moderate amount of healthy plant fat and lots of greens, okay? So how does this work? Well, for breakfast, I usually have a smoothie. Smoothies are great ways to get in all the nutrients you need without a lot of time or effort involved. So my smoothies will contain fruit, it will contain some added plant fat, it'll contain some greens, it'll contain some liquid, obviously sometimes almond milk, sometimes coconut water, sometimes water, just depends. And I also incorporate some plant protein. And I do that because I found when I wasn't getting any additional protein, like when I was just doing raw vegan, I was only getting about 5% protein of my calories, and that just wasn't enough for me. And plus, I lift heavy weights, you guys. So that's another one of my tricks is I lift heavy weights, and I need more protein to feel good and to feel recovered and rejuvenated. So that's what I do for my breakfast. And then lunch, I usually end up doing the same thing. Not always, but I usually do because it's so easy for me first thing in the morning to wake up, to make 2 smoothies, to put them in my containers, and then no matter what time of day it is, because feel me on this, girlfriends, like, do you not get interruptions all the time from your kids, even when they're at school? My kids don't even have cell phones, okay? We don't allow our kids to have cell phones, I know, but whatever, that's what we do. They find ways to get a hold of mom. They're sneaky, I tell you. So they find me and they'll be like, Mom, I forgot my homework. Mom, can you look up this in my notes? I left my notebook at home. Or Mom, I need a ride. Or Mom, like over and over and over. Plus I have to get the little ones to preschool and I have to get them here and there. So I like to eat. And I don't like to have to be like, oh shoot, I can't eat. Like say it's 11:30 and my daughter's like, Mom, I need a ride. I forgot, blah, blah, blah. My friend can't get me there. So then I'm like, okay, so then I have to drop everything and go take care of my daughter. Well, then I get home at 1:30. Well, if you are not prepared and planned ahead, you're going to be starving. And I'm sorry, but when you're starving, you're going to eat whatever's easiest. So that's why I like to make 2 smoothies because I have them there, they're ready. I know I'm getting the best nutrition I need and in the right ratios that I want for my goals. So if somebody calls me or needs something, I grab my smoothie and I go. And then I'm totally nourished and I'm fine. And I am right on my engineered path to get me to my goals, to keep me at my goals, to keep me where I want to be. So that's what I do. Now on days when I can't have a smoothie, then I'll just eat fruit and I'll add some veggies to it. Like a lot of times I'll be at Walmart and I don't have a smoothie. So what do? I buy a bunch of fruit and I buy a thing of celery and I eat it on the way home. Like it's so easy. And then for dinner, usually dinner, I try to put a little thought into instead of just throwing something together. I mean, yes, of course, you can just eat some vegetables and some almonds and call it dinner. You could. It's kind of boring. I'm kind of a foodie. I like to make things and I like to enjoy my food and I like to have different flavors and I like to experiment and that's just how I am. So for me, my dinner always involves a lot of vegetables, okay? Like tons of vegetables. It's so funny because my husband, like my bowl is huge for my salads and he's been doing raw vegan with me and I'll put the bowl in front of him. He's like, holy cow, like it's a lot of food. And sometimes he can't finish it all in one sitting. He'll have to finish the rest like at 8 o'clock at night. It's a lot of food, okay? So I do tons of vegetables. I have my greens. I add some sort of dressing or sauce or dip or something to get my healthy plant fats in, or I'll just sprinkle pumpkin seeds on it or avocado. And sometimes I'll do things that are like, instead of just a salad, because you don't always want to eat a salad, especially in the winter when it's cold. Like, you want something warm and you want something comforting. And so I'll make a soup. Like I'll blend up my vegetables and I'll throw it in the dehydrator and keep it raw, but it'll be warm and it's so yummy and it's so filling. It's so satiating. Or I'll make like wraps. I do my raw vegan wraps that I make on my dehydrator. And so I'll have like a wrap and I'll dip it in a sauce and I'll have some extra veggies on the side and maybe some cut up fruit. Or nori wraps. Nori wraps are so delicious. Having some raw sushi that is totally nourishing and just, oh, I love it. Or I'll do like a raw pizza or raw chili or just, there's so many different things you can do and they're so delicious and you don't feel at all like you're missing out and you are eating so much food, but yet you're losing weight at the same time. Tell me that's not a win. Win! Now, I know what you're thinking because I get this all the time. Wait, aren't carbs bad for you? Like, I thought eating fruit was really bad for you. Like, eating a lot of fruit makes you fat. And I thought you had to exercise a bunch to lose weight. No, little ones, that is not the truth. Okay, we are meant to eat carbs. Carbs are what gives us energy. Case in point, right? I am fully carved up. So we need carbs. They fuel our bodies. They give us the nutrients we need, the micro and macronutrients. Like, we need carbs, you guys. And no, we don't have to spend countless hours at the gym. We will get to the exercise part later. But your body needs those carbs. And the beauty of the raw vegan diet is that you give yourself the carbs in the whole plant form. Like I mentioned before, it is a nutrient-dense food. It is not a calorie-dense food. So you can eat that and feel nourished and feel full and not gain weight because it is not calorie-dense. Are we getting this? Do you guys feel me? Put your comments down below. Let me know what you're thinking. I know you're probably thinking I'm cuckoo. I can be a little cuckoo. I'm sorry about that, but put your comments down below, ask your questions, and we'll get to them in our next Q&A session. So you guys, I am not the only person who has had success on the raw vegan diet. So I have another friend to introduce you to who has had amazing results on the raw vegan diet. Let me introduce you to her. So would you mind telling us your name and then give us a brief background story of your health journey?
Yeah, sure. I am Erin Valentine, and really my health journey begins when I was very young. As a child, my parents split up when I was like maybe 4, I think, and I spent half the time with each of my parents. And at my mom's house, it was a free-for-all. You could eat whatever you want, whenever you want. We had little Debbie's and Doritos and corn dogs and fish sticks and all of that. And then at my dad's house was a very different story. We had, he wasn't vegetarian or anything, but we ate like lots of fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains, stuff like that. We never had like snack foods. Sometimes we'd have like corn chips and salsa, but that was pretty much it. And so I was raised enjoying healthy foods. I also ate the bad stuff, but I also enjoyed the healthy foods. But I was overweight as a child, and food was an issue for me. Of course, as a kid, I didn't know that, but as I got older, like right before high school and into early high school, I started realizing like, okay, I need to get a handle on this. I need to lose weight. I need to exercise. And it started very innocently, just wanting to lose weight and wanting to be healthier. And then I became vegetarian, kind of on a whim. A friend of mine said that he was going to be vegetarian, and my aunt said the same thing. Kind of right around the same time, I was like, vegetarian, I think I could do that. Mm-hmm. And I did, and neither one of them stuck to it. I don't think they did it really for any length of time at all. So it began there, and that was maybe my sophomore year of high school. So that was like 15 years ago. And actually I became pescatarian. I was still eating seafood, and I was going more towards whole foods. So I was having like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, nuts, stuff like that. And then also still some seafood and fish and dairy, and eggs. And at around the same time, I started also controlling my portions, thinking in a healthy way, but not understanding that the recommendations I was getting from reputable like health institutions online were actually overly, suggesting that I overly restrict my calories to lose weight. And so that began a cycle of binging and restricting. That I had overeaten my whole life, but then it really became like this mind game obsession of restricting my calories and holding on so tight to that, and then just feeling totally out of control, and binging for a few days on end. But through this time, I slowly started improving my diet as well. So I was just eating cleaner and cleaner, and I eventually, early on in college, I cut out seafood and dairy and eggs. Mm-hmm. And then, so that was like early to mid-college years. And soon after that, I think it was 2008, I met some friends who were into raw food, high-fat raw. And I remember telling my husband, he always reminds me of this, I said, this is really cool and I like all this raw food, but I'll never go fully raw. That's just silly. And eventually I did. I went fully raw, high-fat raw, and I felt amazing. But then all of the fat started to catch up with me. Digestion slowed down. My energy got really low. I had issues with candida and blood sugar. I was having rashes on my skin and acne. Had these rashes that went down the side of my nose and on my eyelids. They were bright pink. It looked like I had clown makeup on. They were peeling, and anything that touched them burned, even water. So I would get in the shower and water hitting them just burned like crazy. I had acne. My digestion, I always felt like I had a brick in my stomach. And yeah, I was like 21 years old, and I would come home from classes at the university, and it would be like, I don't know, 1:30 or 2 o'clock. And I would just sit on my couch like, I'm done for the day. I can't do anything else. And through searching and trying to figure out what was causing that, I found a low-fat raw diet. And I struggled to implement that fully for many years, but as soon as I tried it, all of my symptoms went away within a couple weeks. And then slowly I, became more and more and more raw until I was eating a fully raw, low-fat, fruit-based diet.
You said you were overweight, which I cannot imagine.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So did you lose weight on your vegan things, or was it like, when did you actually lose weight? And
yeah. Well, so I initially lost weight when I was in high school, and I was restricting my calories. So I don't know exactly how much I weighed. I would say I'm 5'3", and I would say at some points I probably weighed like 145, 150, which isn't huge, but it's way more than I need to weigh at my size. And so I lost weight. I got down to about 120 when I was doing the unhealthy restricting. And even with the binging, I guess I was restricting and exercising enough to keep the weight off. But I felt like it was always a struggle. And through the years, I've kind of yo-yoed back and forth many times, and gotten back up to at least 140, if not higher than that. But in the last several years, I would say, the last 5 years, I've balanced out, or whatever you call it, around like 120, 125. From childhood, like my natural tendency has been overweight. Like it's very, very easy for me to gain weight. So it has been a long journey and a learning experience to understand what it takes to not be overweight, which is very different from what I was used to.
So as far as describing your diet, because we all describe our raw vegan, everyone raw vegans a little differently, right?
Right.
So how would you describe the way you did raw vegan?
Well, I would say it's definitely fruit-based. So I'm getting most of my calories from fruit, which feels really good for me. So, and I typically eat 2 meals a day. Breakfast is some sort of juicy fruit. Right now, at the moment, it's mostly grapes. And then I'm still able to find a little bit of good watermelon. So I'll maybe have grapes and watermelon. And then for my second meal, I'll typically have a little bit more fruit. So that might be some papaya, persimmons. We have a lot right now that are getting ripe. And then I'll have a big salad almost always. And that might include, it definitely includes greens. And then other veggies, just depending on what I'm feeling. So it might be like celery, corn, peas, beets. I love beets. And then I'll make a dressing. So it might be, I was making lots of mango dressing. I really love mango tahini. But I might also make something with like a more creamy, fatty dressing, just depending on how I feel.
Do you find eating a raw vegan diet is much more simpler and easier than your other diets? Or because it doesn't sound like you really try to hit certain targets of anything,
Right.
It's kind of more freeing. What do you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I try to eat intuitively to a degree. Full on intuitive eating doesn't really work for me, where I just eat whatever I feel like eating. But to a degree, within the realms of the boundaries that I've created for myself, I eat what I desire to eat. I do pay a little bit of attention to making sure I have variety and, I'm getting, like, I know there's a few nutrients that I want to pay attention to, like zinc and things like that, to just make sure that I'm including foods that have those nutrients that are easy to not meet requirements on. Is it easy? Yes, for me, it's very easy. But at this point, I mean, I've been eating a fruit-based diet for 9 years. And so, I've got the grocery shopping down. I've got the ripening process down. I know where to find all the good stuff. Like, it gets a lot easier over time. I can see for some people in the beginning that it might be a little, it's so different compared to normal. But for me, like, I go in my kitchen in the morning and I grab grapes, rinse them off, and eat them. And then for my next meal, I get a little more fruit, and then I chop up stuff to put in a salad, maybe blend it up. Like, it's pretty easy. Yeah.
And so, because a lot of times people hesitate doing raw vegan for lots of various reasons, but do you have, like, in what you've encountered with other people, do you have advice that you give them?
Yeah. I suggest, when we're coming off of cooked food, it can be difficult to eat as simply as someone who's been on this diet for many years. So I suggest that they find like at least 5 recipes that they really love, like hearty, delicious dishes that they like look forward to eating. That way, when they're in that moment, like, I just want something like comforting and hearty, they have those recipes that they can go to that don't take a ton of time to make. And really, for me, focusing on fruit works because I love it. Most people love the taste of fruit, and it's so fast and easy. And then, yeah, like I said, just knowing what you can make quickly that you like, and making sure you have stuff on hand, and just being prepared. Don't go into the day like having no clue what you're going to eat, no clue what groceries you have. At least have an idea, like, this is how much food I need for the week. This is how much I need to eat per meal. As you go, you learn, and just pay attention to those things, and set yourself up for success by being prepared, essentially. I love the food that I eat every day, and I always tell people, like, I am so blessed to enjoy my food as much as I do. Not just enjoying the taste of it, but the taste and knowing that it is good for my body and it's nourishing my body and it feels good for my body. I also think about the freedom that a raw vegan diet has brought into my life, thinking much more clearly. And I feel like my horizons have broadened since being on this diet, which sounds kind of crazy because you think, like, how could a diet do that? I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like I've just become much more peaceful, much more accepting of others, much more connected with others, just much more in tune with my personal self, which has allowed me to just fulfill my place in the world. Me and my husband were taking a walk one day, and I said, I think eating all this fruit's making me really happy. Like, I'm not sure, but that's the only difference. That's the only thing I can pinpoint. Yeah. And he's like, there's no way just eating a different diet could make you more happy. You know, like, how is that possible? And then he started doing it, and he's like, I think you're right about this diet making you really happy. And it does. And, you know, for me, that's the purpose in life, to be present and to experience joy. Because if we're not doing that, then like, what is all of this? Like, what's the purpose, you know? For me, it's to experience joy and to share that joy with other people. And raw food diet has definitely helped me to do that. I would just say, if someone is considering this diet, to ease your way into it. Don't force it, because that can become, you know, like an unhealthy thing. I see so many people who are like, I want to be raw, and I'm fully raw for a few days, and then I go back to this. Like, let go of all of that mental obsession over it, and just keep your eye on the goal and keep working your way in that direction at whatever speed that happens. But just keep going in that direction, and remember to love yourself and to be kind to yourself along the way.
Thank you so much, Erin.
You're welcome. It was really good to talk to you, Jocelyn.
Isn't Erin the cutest little thing? She was so fun to talk to, and her story's pretty amazing. To struggle with naturally being overweight since high school, and to be where she is now. I mean, she looks like she's never had a weight problem in her life, and she looks so happy and free, and I love talking to her. You know, if you were inspired by Erin's story, just give her a shout out, spread her some love down below. You know, it takes courage to share our stories, and she was so willing to, and I thought it was pretty awesome. Also, if her interview sparked any more questions that you might have, or things that you wonder about, just put them in the comments below, and I will be sure to get to them. Okay, so I promised to tell you how you can indulge more in this training, and I think I've kind of shown that to you, how, you know, you don't have to restrict yourself. You can eat amazing, delicious food in abundance and feel amazing. You know, like when I was doing like the Atkins diet or the keto diet, you know, you eat a piece of fruit and you feel guilty. Well, in this diet, you can eat a whole watermelon and not feel guilty. And it's so freeing, and it makes you feel so amazing. It's not like when you indulge in high-fat desserts or different things like that, cheese and things like that, where they make you feel really yucky. Eating an abundance of fruit and vegetables, but fruit makes you feel so wonderful. And we've seen that today in Erin's story. Now I want to show you a little slideshow I put together of some of the foods that I've created that I enjoy on a regular basis. And you tell me, does that look like super delicious food? Like maybe a little indulgent, but yet it's all raw and delicious? So take a peek. All right, what did you guys think of that food? Doesn't that look so delicious? Like just vibrant and healthy, but so yummy. And some of them truly look indulgent, don't they? They are so amazing. Can you imagine yourself eating like this? Filling your body full of this healthy, nutritious food and just feeling amazing? Yes! So in my next video, I'm going to help you visualize exactly what it will be like for you to eat a raw vegan diet. So look in your inbox. I'm going to send you messages when it's available. And it's going to be on Thursday at 6 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. And it's going to be very special, so you don't want to miss it. And we're going to have another super secret segment, so you want to stick around for that. And don't forget to join the Raw Vegan Secrets Masterclass Facebook group. That's where we can ask our questions. I post in there daily, try to inspire you, and I try to encourage you guys. So join us over there. We're just a bunch of ladies that are friendly, and we want to help each other along. And keep in mind, these trainings, they're going to be available until December 15th. So come December 15th, we're going to take them down. So watch them as many times as you want until then. And up next is our super secret segment. You guys, really, I wish I could see you, and I just want everyone to try to say that really fast. Super secret segment. It is like tongue twister. And it just, yeah. Does anybody else struggle with that? Just try to say it. Let me know if you struggle, or if I'm the only cuckoo one that has a hard time saying super secret segment fast. I'm a fast talker too, in case you didn't notice. So of course I want to say it like really fast because that's how I talk. I have to slow down when I say super secret segment. But it is coming up next, so you'll want to stick around. All right, we're in the super secret segment. Woohoo! You know, if you made it this far, you deserve like a big gold medal, because this is a pretty long training, but I had a lot of information that I really wanted to share with you guys. I really want to help you guys figure this out, because you know I've struggled and I don't anymore. So I just really want to help you guys. So please put in your comments down below if this has been helpful, what more I could add to this to make it useful for you. This is for you guys. So please help me create the best content possible by putting comments down below, letting me know. Actually, it'll be this side. Let me know what I can do to help you guys. So this super secret segment is going to be a question and answer period. So I have compiled some of the questions that you guys have asked in the group and in the comments, and I want to answer them for you. So the first question comes from Belinda, my friend Belinda. She lives in the UK. I'm trying to think, where exactly do you live, Belinda? I know it's like in London, is it not? I think it is. So she wants tips to stay raw when feeding your family cooked food. She seems to always fail when cooking her family's evening meals. Okay. For those of you who don't know, my family is not vegan. Okay. Only I am. My husband claims he's vegan now. We'll see how long that lasts. My family does eat a lot of plant food though. And I feel like my camera is crooked. Am I crooked to you guys? I don't know. So what I do, and this is what I've always done, is usually for me, like my family eats around 6 o'clock at night, okay? I like to eat around 3 to 4 o'clock. That's when I personally am hungry. So the best tip I can give you is just prepare your dinner ahead of time. I usually prepare my dinner when my babies go down for a nap, when Damon, the 18-month-old, goes down for a nap. So what you do is when they go down for a nap, the first thing you do is you just hurry up and prep your dinner so it's already done. And then you just put it in the fridge, or you put it in the dehydrator, or you leave it on the counter if you don't want it cold. You get it ready. So then at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, whenever there's a chance when you're hungry, then just start eating it. And I usually don't end up eating the whole thing at 3 or 4 o'clock. I usually just eat like half of it because I'm hungry. But it keeps me from like snitching other foods. Like usually I would go and I would snitch dates or some peanut butter or something. It keeps me from doing that. It keeps me on my plan, on my engineered path to get to my goals, right? So, and then when I make the family's dinner, if I'm hungry again, then I have that to be chewing on. And like if you have a salad or different things like that, it's a lot of chewing. So, chewing a salad while you're cooking the family's food is really going to keep you from snitching their food, I promise. So I do that, and then by the time they eat, I am full, and either I've already eaten my food or whatever, but I stay totally on plan. And it is not hard for me anymore to not eat the rice. It used to be excruciating to not eat rice and curry, like really bad. The smell of jasmine rice cooking, like, wow. In the beginning, smells are a trigger, really bad. But now it doesn't even affect me at all. So it really does get easier, but that trick does help. Another trick that I do, if I, say we're gone all day and maybe I did prep a dinner, but we're gone all day, I don't get a chance to eat anything, I'm starving, I will just sit there and eat my dinner while I'm cooking their food. I personally do not have a problem not eating at the table with my family. I sit with them, but I don't eat. Like if I've already eaten my food, I just sit with them and I monitor. It's more like babysitting because I'm like, it's like lunch duty, I'm like, stop throwing your food, stop hitting him, stop screaming, stop, pass this back, anyway, it's like a orchestra dealing with children. But if that does bother you, then just, while you're cooking their food, eat some fruit or something while you're cooking their food and then sit down and eat your raw meal. I know a lot of times people can't prep. There are those days when you just don't have time to prep a dinner ahead of time. And on those days, I just eat fruit for dinner, which I know seems like, what? But that's what I want. I want a persimmon. And then I'm like, I feel like a pear. And I feel like an orange. And I feel like a banana. And usually by then I'm full. And so it is really not a problem. And it's okay some days to just do that. You don't have to create a delicious meal. I probably actually eat fruit for dinner more often than not because I am very busy. And I'm usually not super hungry at 5, 6 o'clock at night. I'm just not. I'm hungry at 3 o'clock. And that's when I usually go for food. So does that help you, Belinda? Can you put in the comments if that helped? I'm sure I have more tips, but that's what comes to mind right now. All right, another question I had was from Kesha. Kesha, you wondered if I have a grocery list for raw vegan. And actually, I do have a meal plan and a grocery list already made up, and they're going to be available when we actually have our order form page ready. So when that's ready and up and launched, then you can click that you want that. So that is available. All right, Tina, my girl, you asked, or your question was that you seem to struggle in the colder months because you always want comfort food. And I feel you on that. It's where we live, it's cold almost all the time. We have snow from October until April. We get a lot of snow here. So one tip that I would recommend is preparing those raw vegan dishes that can be warmed up. Probably half of the meals in my raw vegan cookbook can be warmed up. And I love them. They taste just like cooked food to me, really. They're delicious. I have a zoodle recipe. I have a soup recipe. I have lots of soup recipes on my YouTube channel. And they're totally satisfying. Or if it's just say you're having some sort of party or get together or something and they're going to have some really awesome food. Well, then in those cases, because I would want to feel like I could indulge, with everyone else, I would prepare some dish that would take maybe a little more time than what I can do on a normal weekday, like a raw vegan pizza. Those are amazing. And I do have a recipe for raw vegan pizza in my recipe books for the crust. So they are so delicious. And I don't make them very often because they take a lot of time. But when I do make them, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so good. So plan ahead. Plan ahead, have some really more decadent dishes that maybe you wouldn't create normally that you can fall back on. Another thing I do is, especially in the winter, my kids, every time they come in from playing in the snow, they want hot chocolate. It's just it's like peanut butter and jelly. Playing in the snow and hot chocolate, that's what they want. And pretzels to go with it. Odd. I don't know. But so when they have their hot chocolate, sometimes I want some hot chocolate, and I'll make some. It's so easy to make raw vegan hot chocolate, girlfriend. You just take some almond milk, put it in your blender, put in some raw cacao and some hemp seeds, and and some dates, and blend it up and blend it until it gets warm. So for a minute, 2 minutes, then it's usually warm, and drink that baby down, girl. It is so delicious. And you can do it with water too. The hemp seeds help thicken it up, the dates sweeten it, and the cacao for chocolate is so good. So you don't have to go without. There are wonderful things that you can do to get that little bit of indulgence, that little bit of comfort, and just make you feel amazing. Because after you eat it, you don't feel guilty. You feel just as vibrant and wonderful as you always feel. So it is a wonderful path to be on, let me tell you. All right. And then my friend from Australia, whom I cannot pronounce your first name. I am so sorry. You really need to tell me how to pronounce your name. You said you never feel satiated. You're not a smoothie person, and so you're wondering how to succeed when always on the run, when it takes so much more time to prep 2 meals. So I kind of addressed that when I answered Belinda's question, because I am a super busy woman. 8 kids, you better believe it. I am super busy. Plus trying to do all these webinars and different things. Like, it's crazy. But really, it's just in the morning, I prep my food. I just do it in the morning before the day gets away from me, before everything gets crazy. I just prep my food and then it's ready. And it's not a problem. And I have to prepare a really big dinner for my family sometimes too, because sometimes my 16-year-old daughter doesn't want to eat either what the boys are eating. And I do cater to her a little bit because I know she's on a health journey. So I do try to accommodate her desire to eat healthier. I'm all for that. Also, you said you're not a smoothie person. So I have so many recipes that are like, you could call them like cereal bowls, but it's obviously not cereal. It's like soaked seeds, like flaxseed, chia seed, hemp seed with almond milk and maybe some berries on top. It is so, and walnuts and cacao nibs. Okay, it's higher in fat, but it is so delicious. And it's not a smoothie. It's like a bowl of cereal. And you can make it as thin or thick as you want because the chia seeds and flax seeds thicken up. It is so yummy. So that is definitely not a smoothie that you could eat. That is on the go. Also, I do like fruit bowls. I do like kind of like a smoothie, but I make it kind of like nice cream. So I make like nice cream, banana nice cream, frozen bananas, frozen fruit, and then I put some chopped fresh fruit on top and maybe a drizzle of some like chia seeds or walnuts or almonds or something, and I'll eat that. That is so delicious. And because I hear you, like I have my smoothie here. And as the day goes on, sometimes they separate, but to me, it still tastes amazing. But I'm not looking for, if I was looking for food that was like amazing every time I ate it, I would prep my smoothie in the moment and drink it, eat it in the moment. But I don't have time for that. So I make my smoothies ahead. It's, right now it's 4:00 in the evening and, it's not thick and creamy anymore, but it still tastes amazing. So do like those cereal bowls or just grab fruit. Just eat fruit, for crying out loud. That is delicious. So never feeling satiated. I want to know what your fat is at. What are you eating for fats? Because fats was what makes you feel satiated. And maybe you doing more like a seed bowl or a nut bowl like that with a little higher fat, not over the top. You don't want to like cause some problems with too much fat, but maybe a little more fat so that you do feel satiated. Find little ways to tweak, little adjustments. Also, you might like having like more textures with your food. So like for instance, if you do like an ice cream, you could make some delicious, just take some banana and pineapple, blend it up and dehydrate it on a sheet like for a cracker. It's a sweet cracker. It is amazing and is super crunchy. Like do that so you get like the smooth, cold and creamy with the crunchy of the chip, or dehydrate just pineapples. Just slice it and do that. That's a nice crunch. Or having some crackers to eat with your salads, Little things like just even one little raw cracker I noticed with a salad makes it satiating for me. Whereas without, I'm like, I wish I had some, Or making like a raw taco meat to have on your salads is so good. It's like chewy and spicy and yummy. It's so good. So finding ways to just add little bits to your meals so that you do feel satiated, increasing your fat just a little bit, and then finding ways around those smoothies. So doing like bowls and doing just plain fruit and things like that. So does that help you? I hope it does. And your last name is La Creme, which I think that's how you say it, but I cannot say your first name. So let me know if it was helpful and let me know how to say your name, please. All right, you guys. So that wraps up our super secret segment for today. Next time, I will address more questions, so please put them down below and put them in the group, and I hope to see you over there. And be sure to mark your calendars for next Thursday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. I will be sure to send you reminders. Sign up for the Facebook Messenger because I will text you when it goes live. So you never will miss out. And I will see you guys on Thursday. Bye.